Your Veyron-owning life begins in an Alcantara-lined minibus that whisks you from private jet to factory door. The Bugatti is assembled near Strasbourg in a place unlike any factory you've ever seen. It's in the grounds of a chateau once home to founder Ettore Bugatti. Immaculate stable blocks house offices. This is where the interns sleep, and I don't ever remember seeing a manicured lawn at Longbridge. But all that grandeur is perfectly fitting. We are, after all, talking about a car that does 253 miles an hour. Now, you know what I'm like when I get close to these cars. I can't wait to soak up some of the detail. And I'm instantly drawn to this amazing engine bay. 16 cylinders and 4 turbochargers, which help produce that 1,001 horsepower. But they also produce 1,000 degrees centigrade, which is why there's no engine cover to let the heat out. Looking down here, they had hoped to use this wonderful single square exhaust pipes, but in order to get the power, they had to add 2 more, one inside each of the Venturis. But of course, going at 250 miles an hour, you then worry, how are you going to stop? And you look at the brakes, Bugatti calipers there, 16-inch carbon ceramic discs, which are bigger than a Ford Focus's wheels. And those brakes can stop the car from 250 miles an hour in just 10 seconds. Mind you, you can't get to that 250 miles an hour without the special key. The top speed key for the top speed mode. This has to be inserted when the car is stationary, and once turned on, it lowers the car right down to just a quarter of an inch above the surface of the road. It allows the rear wing to only come up just 2 degrees. It makes the car as slippery as possible through the air. But because it's so low, you can't just go out on a deserted autobahn and blast up to 250 miles an hour. It'd be too rough. The car will start crashing out of the ground. On top of that, if you just turn the steering wheel more than 15 degrees of lock or touch the brakes, the car will jump out of top speed mode. The rear wing will come up in the air. The front will raise. It'll be like throwing a parachute out of a dragster. The speed will be dragged off. You'll be back safe and sound. So even if you do wake up one morning and fancy doing 253 miles an hour on your Veyron, you can't. The actual assembly hall is normally out of bounds, but we promised to behave, so they let us in for a mooch. Now look at that for an engine! It's massive, 2 banks of double cylinders creating that W effect. How on earth they fit that in the back of a car that looks so beautiful, so compact? Let's go and have a look at assembly cars. But don't look to your right, because there is something very special I'd love to tell you about, but I can't. That's a model you're not allowed to look at. You can look at the rest of them over here, so no peeking. But now you can pan right. Look at the rest of the assembly. There's a car ready to be delivered. Don't go too far to the right. That's one ready to be delivered. That's one about to be test driven. They test them for 500 kilometres each car before they go out. That's why it's called the tape around the grille to protect it so it goes out as new. Over here, I've spotted over here, look, a colour in the finishing off bay where the bright lights are checking out for any imperfections. Look at the rear, I love that all in one colour rear. Oh, more colour around the corner, look at that. The Bugatti blue, now that is stunning. Oh, this does look lovely. Here's the rubber. That's some grip. This is brilliant. Look at the jacks that prop the car up, not some sort of average street corner ramps. 4 great big pistons that lift the car out of the ground for preparation. In fact, we can probably look now quickly at the aerodynamics underneath the car. See the perfect flat floor that creates that acceleration of air underneath, that creates the downforce. £890,000 plus £819,000, that's 1.7 million-ish, plus £890,000 plus £890,000, that's 3.4 million-ish. Don't go too far, you might see when you can't see this. But there's another 2, that's 5.8 million. It's probably about £10 million worth of Bugatti Veyrons right in front of me. Another former stable houses the customer reception, where it's possible to choose your Veyron's options. Maybe you want luxury seats, or the slightly more figure-hugging sport seats. None of them, incidentally, are fully electric. Some customers simply can't decide what colour to go for, so have bought 2 Veyrons and matching models at £3 a pop. About 100 cars have been built, with 15 delivered to the UK. Bugatti admit that despite the £900,000 price, they'll never make money on the project. It's simply an engineering showcase designed to relaunch the brand. Let's start it. No stripped out racing car here, just greeted by luxury. I'll press the start button. And 3,700 parts suddenly burst into action. Time to blip the throttle. You just have to soak up the moment the excitement begins to swell up inside you. You're about to drive the Veyron.